Hey, my name is Megan Lorson, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a super simple foliage technique. I'm going to be taking my girl Janelle from a nice warm golden blonde to a beautiful bright summery blonde. She currently has about natural level 4 or 5 roots. We're going to keep a rooty look, that way it's a low maintenance color for her and it grows out really nice, but we're going to brighten her up all over around her ends, give her a beautiful bright money piece, but we're going to keep some warm tones in her hair, and I'm also going to bring in some ashy tones. So we're going to have a beautiful mixture of ashy and warm blonde tones. So I'm super excited, and I'm going to be using Paul Mitchell Syncrolift Plus. This is my ride or die lightener for almost all my blonding services. So let's get started. So I'm going to show you guys a video of her before, and we are going to be cutting her hair before we start lightening her. So I'm going to give her a beautiful, cute, blunt textured cut, and then we're going to get into lightening it. Okay, so here's Janelle. Here's her before. You guys can see her dark roots and her previous color and grow out. We're going to blend it really good, and we are going to brighten her up for the summer. All right, so I'm going to be working starting in the back of her head, and I got my Syncrolift Plus with 20 volume mixed up, and I'm going to be starting right back here. I took a slight diagonal, just following her hairline, which is at a diagonal, and this is super important because this is the hair that's going to fall forward and the hair that she's going to see right in the front. All right, so I'm going to start right here, and we're going to start by taking a little weave. Then I'm going to take my foil, place it right here. And you guys can see all the previously highlighted hair that she has. And like I said before, we're gonna make her like a really pretty, bright, ashy, warm blonde. So we're gonna have tones of ash in her hair, but also tones of that warmth color. So some of this previously highlighted hair is gonna get brighter, which is gonna be like that ashier color. And then some of this newer lightener that's going on her darker hair is gonna be more of that warmer tone, which is exactly what we want. And then I'm just gonna feather this up a little bit. That way it gives her a nice blend. And then you can even take your comb and just make sure it's extra blended so there's no line. And then I'm gonna come over here and do the same thing. We're gonna do a weave. And this is to keep pockets of the depth through her hair, so she's got lots of dimension, and it also helps to make the color all over look really blended and helps it to grow out really nice and last for a really long time. And I always start applying on the ends of the hair, and then I X. This opens up the hair to make sure it's really saturated, and then after I get the excess of my product off on the ends, I come up and feather it up. So just lightly feather it. And then we're going to continue working up her head in diagonal sections, and I'm going to be doing some horizontal sections. So our next one here is going to be horizontal, and then we're going to take vertical, do another horizontal, and just keep working up the head that way. All right, so I just finished applying all the foils in the back. We kept that diagonal pattern and then did a horizontal one, diagonal, diagonal, both sides, and then we did a horizontal. And now as I'm getting to the top, I want to bring some really, really fine baby lights through her top. That way it helps blend any lines or anything in her hair. So we're going to take horizontal sections straight across, working all the way up to the mohawk section to the front, and then we're going to stop in the front to add a money piece. But what I'm going to do right here is just take a really fine weave. You guys can see how fine it is. It's really thin, and then we're going to tease it to make it even finer. And of course the teasing is going to help with more blending also. And then I'm going to apply my lightener starting on the ends, get it saturated really well, and then I'm just going to feather it up a little bit further through here so we get a little bit of that lightness. Make sure it's really saturated. And we're gonna continue that all the way up until the front, and I'm gonna stop for the money pieces. But we're gonna take thin horizontal sections, weave them really fine, and then we're gonna tease them and continue to apply the lightener. All right, so now we're starting on the hairline. In my first section, I took a diagonal and we're still weaving. And then this one's a horizontal. And then now we're gonna work on her money piece. I'm gonna turn her this way just a little bit so you guys can see. And we're going to take this little section right here in the front. And we're gonna take it really, really fine right here. And we're gonna start weaving this. Get it nice and close to the front. And we're still working with the 20 volume Syncrolift. I'm just gonna touch this up a little bit right here. Just feather it in so it's nice and blended. Fold this up. And then the next section is gonna be directly behind that. We're gonna take these really close together to get that money piece really bright. I'm gonna weave that, and then I'm actually gonna put this back behind it, and then we're gonna weave this again, and then place this. And by keeping this little bit of hair in between the foils is going to break it up enough so it keeps it soft and doesn't make it too blunt, so it don't, like, just so it doesn't look blended. All right, so now we're gonna marry the money pieces together. So I'm gonna take a horizontal section right here in between the two sides, and we're gonna weave this. And then I'm gonna give it a little tease. And then let me push this up a little bit more.
No.
And then we're gonna apply the lightener on here. And then when I get to the top, we're gonna feather it up. And then we're gonna continue this back and do another one right behind that. I'm gonna take a little slice and do one more foil back here. And then I'm gonna weave this. And then we're gonna tease that. Push this up a little bit. And then apply the lightener to the ends. And that will marry those two pieces together. And then on the sides, we just did diagonal foils and we weaved that on both sides. And now we let it all process, and then I'll show you guys the after. So here's her after. It turned out so good, and we ended up using Paul Mitchell The Demi 9A to tone her, and it turned out so good.